Hi, boys and girls. Today is Thursday. It's April 9th, 2020, and I have your story of the day for you. Today, I'm going to read the story of Ferdinand by Munro Leaf, and the drawings or illustrations are by Robert Lawson. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. Look at him growing. Started as a baby and all the way up to now. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. See him? Right there? One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls ran around, snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care, so he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? What would you do? Would you just, you would sting him. And that's just what the bee did to Ferdinand. Ouch. Wow, did that hurt? Ferdinand jumped with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting and butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. But was Ferdinand really trying to get picked? No. So they took him away for the bullfight in a cart. There he is, in the cart, going to the bullfights. What a day it was! Flags were flying, bands were playing. And all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. Do, 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 do. First came the banderillos. Next came the picadores. Then came the matador. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderillos were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Do you think Ferdinand is going to fight? What do you think? Ferdinand ran out into the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick out his horns. There he is. But not Ferdinand. When he got into the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He's a nice bull. He's not fierce, and he doesn't like to fight. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled, and the banderillos were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. The end. I hope you like the story, and I want you to tell me, Ferdinand really, really loved just being calm and relaxing, and he loved sitting under his cork tree and smelling the flowers. So I want to know, where is your favorite spot to relax? It could be at home, it could be at school, it could be at the park, it could be at Grandma and Grandpa's house, wherever. Where is your favorite spot to relax? And what do you like to do to relax? You could draw a picture, you could tell your mommy or daddy, and they could write it down for you, and then you could share it with me if you want. Okay? I hope everyone has a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow.